Hey everybody, this is Coach Jose, and I'm here to talk with you a little bit about the importance of breathing. A lot of times when we think about our wellness, we lose sight of the fact that our breath is one of the most important aspects of our overall health and wellness. That's our physical health, as well as our energetic and our mental, emotional, spiritual health. So, breathing is as simple as breathing in and breathing out. But a lot of times we really don't think about how we breathe, when we breathe, why we breathe. So, adding intention and understanding to our breath can really help to improve the quality of the breath, which improves the quality of our health and the quality of our life. Fundamentally, we have two different types of breathing that we're going to consider. And I'm not just talking about inhalation and exhalation, it's the mechanics of how we inhale, how we exhale, and the intention that goes behind those two types of breathing. So, first, let's talk about what is often called deep breathing, abdominal breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, Buddhist breathing. Has lots of different names, but it's just basically this very, very deep and full breath where we imagine that the air is coming down to the base of our abdomen. And so we technically want to think about a spot about three fingers below the navel, and this is a spot called the dantian in qigong and martial arts practice. It's called the qi hai, the ocean of energy in acupuncture theory. So we want to think about this spot, this base of our torso, and we want to imagine as we're breathing that the energy in our breath is coming down to this area. Right? So we want to fill our abdomen with this concept of our energy and our breath. So when you breathe in, your stomach is going to distend naturally. Right? It's not like you're trying to push it out. It's just you imagine it's like a balloon and it's just filling at the base. And then as you exhale, it just gently releases from the base as well. So it's not a very forced breath. It's just very natural. Okay, so when we do this kind of breathing, one of the ways I like to think about it, so the intention behind the breath, I like to imagine something that smells really good to me and something that brings back really good memories. So for me, it was always fresh baked bread, rolls, and cookies and things like that. So walking into the house when my mom would bake things like that, and I can just remember walking in and smelling that and being like, and that's the kind of breath we want to have. So as you're breathing, breathe in that fragrance, right? Breathe in all of those good feelings and bring them all the way down to the base of your body. Fill your entire body with the breath. You can even imagine breathing down to your toes so that all of that goodness is inside you. Remember that those memories, especially as they relate to smells trigger memories and emotions better than just about anything. So, pick something that really has that kind of positive feeling. And remember, if it's something like cookies or cakes or pies, that those memories are non-fattening. So you can breathe them in all you want. So we inhale them and then just let it go. So whenever you're breathing like this, you always want to make sure that you're breathing in through the nose. And the exhalation can either be through a partially open mouth, or it can also actually be through the nose as well. But sometimes with that release of energy, we really want to just feel that so that the mouth opens just slightly and it opens the throat a little bit more so there's less restriction so the air can flow a little bit smoother. All right, so how about we try a few of these together? All right, this is a great one to do. You can do this anywhere, anytime. At the office, you're a little stressed out. Just take a minute and a half or so and just do this kind of breathing, and no one will be any of the wiser. You don't need to wear a fancy uniform or sit on a cushion or anything like that, or light incense candles and things like that. You can just do this anywhere at any time and help to recenter yourself and feel a little bit more calm. So let's just do this together. We're going to take that nice deep breath in, imagining that wonderful smelling thing in front of you, and then just let it out. And again, just taking it in and letting it out. And one more, letting air come right in and let it go, let the tension go. And one more deep breath in. And out. Good. How do you feel? All right. Hopefully, you feel a little more calm, a little more chill, a little more focused. There's a complementary breath to this. Right. So this one helps to calm us down. We can also use our breath to fire us up a little bit. So for this, we use what's often referred to as reverse breathing or Taoist breathing. Sometimes it's called prenatal breathing. So as we breathe in, we actually want to feel our abdomen pulling in slightly. Right. So as we inhale, we're going to feel a little bit of engagement here, which is going to open up the lower back, and you're going to feel like the breath is a little coming up. All right, so as opposed to thinking about the breath going all the way down, this, as you're breathing, you're feeling like the breath is actually coming from inside of you and slightly upwards. And so this creates a lot of compression in the body, which is a storage of energy. So as we breathe in, and then as we exhale, a little bit of a feeling of bearing down. So not necessarily pushing out with the abdominals or crunching, but just a little bit of a bearing down kind of feeling. And the best way to feel this, because this is a very natural kind of breath, this is what our body naturally does when we need to exert energy, is to go to something like a brick wall. I suggest a brick wall as opposed to a dry wall, because if you really give it a shove, you might crack the dry wall, and I'm not going to take responsibility for that. So if you use a nice brick wall, then you can push against it as hard as you want. Nothing's going to happen. All right, so you take that breath in, and then as you push, you're going to feel your body naturally kind of condense down. And that's the feeling that you want to have. Now, the thing about this breathing is that because it's raising energy, if you have problems like high blood pressure, you really want to be careful about not overdoing this breathing. In fact, I could probably pretty much say that if you have high blood pressure, you probably breathe this way more normally. And I'm not saying naturally, but this has become your normal method of breath because this keeps energy up, right? So if you do have problems like with high blood pressure, if you had problems with strokes or things like that, you want to be really, really cautious about using this type of breath. I suggest for doing this kind of breathing, don't do more than just a few breaths. The deep breathing, you can do a minute and a half, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, right? It's really great. For beginners or people without a lot of experience or having someone to coach them through these things, I suggest for reverse breathing, you don't go more than maybe about 3 or 4 breaths because it's really, really powerful. Okay, so we're going to just try this, and this is what I use a lot of times, like when I'm driving or things like that. You may use this if you're working in an office and you get the 3 o'clock slump. Instead of hitting that 5.5 minute energy, whatever, instead of hitting one of those energy drinks, you can use this to help boost your energy, right? So you feel this kind of in, and the shoulders may raise slightly and down. Okay, and doing a few of those, you're going to feel your energy come up, right? This is a very, very powerful breath. It has a lot of benefit, but again, you have to be very careful not to overdo this one, right? This is very, very strong, so you just need a little bit to get you going. All right, so these are 2 very simple breaths. The 2 basic patterns that we use in Qigong and martial arts practice, meditative practices, and once you begin to understand the purposes behind them and the mechanics behind them, then you can understand how to better use them in your practices. All right, so these are very, very simple. You can utilize these today. The relaxing breath, take your time with that one as long as you can go. I suggest starting with about a minute, minute and a half. If you can do more, that's great. The energizing breath, I try to keep that to between 2 to 4 breaths, just till you start to feel yourself coming up a little bit, and then take a break from that. All right. If you feel like your energy's a little bit too high after that, then do a few, super deep breaths just to kind of balance yourself out. All right. So I've got a lot more information coming out here in the future. Some announcements about a really cool project that I have going on that you might find interesting in terms of deepening your understanding of Qigong and your own personal practices. Right? So you'll be hearing more about this in the coming days. So this is Coach Jose saying, please breathe, breathe deeply, breathe regularly, and I'll see you soon.